Well, hello everyone. I'm Dr. Miller. I want to do a real quick video on a terminology that we use to describe students in this course, and it is at potential. At potential. Now, you've heard students given different labels or different calls or handles that are more from a deficit approach. The term at potential is those same students, but just saying it from an asset approach. So you've heard students called at risk or underserved, underrepresented. What's some of the other ones? Disadvantaged. I think I've heard low performing. People get creative. Early dropouts, strivers. You've heard all these terms, but they're all from a deficit point of view. So it's all about what the student can't do or what's missing in the student or the gaps that are there, and that's what's highlighted. So if that's what's highlighted I'm going to use the word label or terminology to describe the student, it's not just highlighted in the student, it's highlighted in the educator as well. So using the term at potential kind of flips that model upside down. So some of the folks that are usually deemed at potential come from different populations. I'll just share a few with you. So those that come from minority populations are usually deemed at potential in higher ed institutions, especially if that institution is what we call a PWI, a predominantly white institution, and it serves a predominantly white population of students, or it has a predominantly white leadership team in front of the students. So it can be an institution that serves a majority of minorities, but if the leadership team is predominantly white, overwhelmingly white, it puts minority students at potential. Another group are men in general, and here's the reason why. And this is Sean Harper did a lot of research on this. School itself is a feminine domain. And why is it a feminine domain? Because men in general speak about 1/3 less the number of words per day than the average woman does, than the average female. So the fact that that there's 1/3 less the number of words coming out of that man's mouth per day, now they're in a higher ed institution that's founded on the ability to communicate. The premise in education is that you can write and you can speak, and you usually speak what you've written about. So if you are unwilling to speak or uncomfortable to speak, or it's not your natural tendency, then you're going to have an issue. The fact that men already speak less than their female counterparts is telling us right away that environment is a feminine domain, and it puts men at potential. Now, that's not to say that men can't thrive and do well in school. I'm not saying that at all. I mean, I did, but what it's saying is that they're at potential. One false move, one different choice can change the whole outcome for that man a whole lot easier than it can for our sisters, our female sisters. Another population that's deemed at potential are those from low-income communities, poverty-stricken, low-income communities. Now, again, some of this is Sean Harper's work as well. Eric Jensen also speaks about this, and Donna Beagle speaks about this as well. But those that come from low income or poverty backgrounds operate in what's called a survival mindset. Now, that survival mindset means I'm taking all my resources and I'm devoting my attention to my resources on my here and now and my immediate future. I'm not looking far down the road. So that already means that there's a conflict in culture. There's a conflict in vision and mission between students from low income communities and the university itself. The university itself is an experience in investing in yourself. It's an investment experience. It's not a short-term reward that comes from a college or the higher ed institution. It is a long-term investment that you put in yourself so that you can put yourself in position to be able to work for different plateaus and different opportunities in life. So right away, there's a cultural gap, a cultural difference between low-income students and making them at potential in the higher ed institution. Another reason why low-income students are at potential in higher ed institution is because of folks that come from low-income communities or poverty-stricken communities tend to come from, according to Dr. Beagle, oral rich cultures. Oral rich cultures where there's verbal directions given. There is words that are spoken, body language that is given to communicate messages and answers. The intensity of a message, the importance, the day. It's all by words. In body language, right? Very little writing down. But when you get to higher ed, it is a print rich environment where things are written, policies are written, instructions are written. I mean, the prompts are, a page long. If you're not a reader, and a writer, you're going to have an issue in higher ed. So those coming from low-income communities or poverty-stricken communities, they're already at potential because they're oral culture rich and not print culture. Another set of folks who are deemed at potential, especially in higher ed, are ESL or English as Second Language learners. There's those learners that have learning disabilities, dyscalculia, dyslexia, those different learning disabilities that are out there. Those that have ADHD or ADD, or anyone with any mental health issues. All of those are considered or will be deemed at potential on the higher ed level. And finally, you have the non-traditional students. So if you're talking especially about an institution that's online and that is open enrollment, if that institution is online and open enrollment, you are going to see a large number of especially female students coming to that institution. Now, those female students probably started school some years ago. It might be 5, 10, 15, 20 years later, and they are coming back to school. So that's what makes them non-traditional. They have a long hiatus from school. That's one of the definitions for non-traditional, right? So they're coming back to finish what they started or whatever the case may be. But these students are at potential because oftentimes when they stopped school years ago, it stopped on not such a positive note. Might have been a life event that forced them to stop. And in that life event, maybe their school performance dropped some. So the last memories they have are not ones of success. They're one of failure. In all kinds of things like that. So it's not a good experience that they stopped with, that's in their mind when they stopped their education, whatever years ago. So now here they are restarting, and now you have all the apprehension, all the anxiety, all the poor memories. You have all those things to work with, as well as trying to, rebuild your skills, resharpen your skills so you can be successful in the classroom. So that makes that student at potential. Another reason why our non-traditional students are considered at potential is because usually when they stopped school before, or maybe they never even went, and it's years, they're in their 40s and coming to school all of a sudden now after building a family, doing a career, they're going to do a second career. It's admirable. I mean, I respect it 150%, right? But consider that potential because whatever happened years ago caused them to stop pursuing their dreams, goals, and aspirations. So in essence, they settled for another path, right? And in settling for that other path, for whatever reason, with that life event, again, it could have been a family, could have been sickness, could have been anything, finance, could have been anything. Settling for that other pathway, they ended up supporting someone else or a group of things or an entity or something. So they tend to be at potential because they settled and supported for many years instead of pursuing their own dreams, goals, and aspirations. So again, here they come back to school and have to relearn and unlearn how to settle and unlearn how to support. And that can be a large drain on their brain with the brain power that he should be using to, work on their school content. So in essence, what I'm saying to you is like students don't always become just what they want to be. And they don't always become just what you want them to be. The vast majority, the greatest majority of your students become what they think that you think they want to be. So we use the term at potential because it's an asset approach to labeling students. We're looking at the strengths and their possibilities rather than highlighting weaknesses, gaps, and things that can be hindrances. See, if I was to take a peach seed in one hand and an acorn in the other hand and ask you what you saw, you probably say a peach seed and an acorn. And I can say, yeah, you're right, but no, you're not right. Because this isn't a peach seed, this is a peach tree. And this isn't an acorn, this is an oak tree. It's all in how I view to see it. I choose to see its potential, what it can become. And the other thing, knowing about what it can become, is being able to get it in the right environment. So if I take that peach seed and I put it on a windowsill for 5 years, it won't do anything. But if I take it outside tomorrow, after 5 years, and put it in the ground and begin to water it, it won't be but 2 weeks before I see a plant sprouting out the ground that is a baby peach tree that, if nurtured properly, can grow and be a peach tree that has dozens of peaches that it produces each year, each having its own seed that can produce a tree, and so on and so forth. So what am I saying to you? We want to use the word at potential, the terminology at potential, when we're talking about our students, because we need to get them in the right environment so that they can produce. But if I don't see what they are, if I don't see their potential, then I won't do what it takes to get them from the windowsill to the backyard in the dirt so that they can grow from that nitrogen, that phosphorus, and that potassium that's in the soil. So my point to you is, at potential students, at potential is an asset approach to labeling students. And it's not just so students see themselves in a more positive light. It's so that we as educators have a cognitive shift and see our students in a different light so that we can meet their needs and help them achieve. At potential students.